Well, I hope you've done your homework. It's showtime, folks. So I just finished watching Captain America Brave New World, and I've seen it twice now. And I wanted to kind of get my thoughts together before I sat down and did this review. Now, there might be some slight spoilers here, but I'll go ahead and let you know before I make a spoiler or anything like that. But seeing as the opening weekend is past, I just kind of want to get my thoughts out there and let you guys know what I thought of the movie. Now, Captain America Brave New World is Anthony Mackie's first film debut as Captain America. And I guess an interesting time for Marvel, the MCU in general, just trying to make a pivot after Endgame. I really feel like they've been stumbling since then. They kind of had a plan and they don't have a plan, and you know, they have one and it gets canceled out, and it's just one of those things where I've been kind of down on Marvel a little bit. I was excited about Deadpool and Wolverine, but that's just because it's Deadpool and Hugh Jackman. And Hugh Jackman's Wolverine was something I never thought I'd see again. And I'm sure I'll see it again at some point, probably. But I like Deadpool and Wolverine. That being said, though, everything else since Endgame has just been something that I'm not really drawn to. I can see that they're fumbling a little bit. They're stumbling. They kind of don't know what to do, in my point of view. They might have a plan, and I'm interested to see where they go. But it's just something that I have not been really locked into as much as I used to be on the lead up to Endgame. So going into Captain America Brave New World, I kind of was, you know, just whatever. It's a Marvel movie, it's coming out. And I wanted to give Anthony Mackie a shot because Anthony Mackie to me has always been somebody that's a good character actor. He's a good side character, but I've never really seen him try to lead a film, especially a film of this magnitude. So I wanted to give him a chance. You know, I like him in his different roles, especially like in Pain and Gain. But even in there, I think he's outshined by The Rock and Mark Wahlberg. So I just wanted to give it a shot. And I'm gonna tell you something. I didn't dislike the movie. You know, I didn't really dislike it. There's some cons in here and we'll get into them, but it wasn't a terrible watch. So here we go. We'll get into the pros. Getting into the pros of this movie, I could feel the pivot that Marvel is trying to make, you know. Like I said, they've been down on their luck, I think, as far as when it comes to what they're putting out and what their idea is going to be. Now that they've made like a connected universe, it's really hard for something to stand alone, and they're trying to keep everything tied in. But what I like about Captain America Brave New World is I feel that pivot. I feel like they're trying to, okay, let's try to just start fresh. Sure, you need to have seen the shows. I think it's called Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think I've seen it, but I don't. It's been a while. But you need to have seen part of it to understand who certain characters are, and that can be a problem for people just jumping into the MCU. But if you're just now jumping into the MCU, it's like I've told other people, it's you got some homework to do. But I can see the pivot. You know, they're trying to get a brand new slate of characters. They're trying to really emphasize that this is our new Cap. And I'll talk about that a little bit too. They're really trying to emphasize that Anthony Mackie is our new Captain America, and the Avengers are kind of just disbanded at this point. Like, it's just, there's no Avengers group. It's just different heroes now that are in the same universe. And I can see the pivot, you know, that they're going to try to rebuild what they had going on going into Endgame. So I'll give them that. It was a pro in that sense. And I don't want to dog on them too much for that one. Another thing I did like about this movie is I felt like it was a return more to the choreography and fighting style of Cap 2, you know, Captain America and the Winter Soldier. The thing with the MCU movies is they always have like CGI monster versus CGI monster as a climax of a film. And I mean, it's cool. It's visually entertaining every once in a while to just kind of sit there and watch it. But I did like that they tried to get down a little bit to the roots of Captain America, especially knowing you're supposed to know that Anthony Mackie's Captain America does not have the super soldier serum. So like making the fights a little bit more grounded versus different humans, and just seeing him kind of have to overcome things as a human being without any enhancements or anything like that. It was good. I enjoyed that part of it. And when there were action sequences, I thought they were done well. You still have your typical Marvel, you know, chop jump cuts and whatever, but there's a lot more choreographed fighting than I'm used to seeing in recent Marvel movies. So I got to give them a pro there. Getting into the cons, you know, I don't know what's going on with the MCU when it comes to CGI. But there are instances in this movie where it's just blatant green screen, blue screen, whatever, and it's just very, very obvious, and it just kind of takes you out of the movie, especially if you've seen so many movies that you're kind of accustomed to, like, looking for stuff like that. You're gonna see it, especially when they're kind of just doing like the whole fuzzy look on the outside of the camera and then just the focus on the middle. You're gonna see it, and it's so apparent, and it's something that takes me out of the movie every once in a while. These big set pieces are, you can see where the set starts and the CGI begins, and it just takes you out of the movie, at least for me, and I think that's a major con. They used to do so much better with that, and I don't know. It's just part of that formula where make it as cheap as you can, get as much money as you can, and it really shows, and that's something that I don't like that the MCU is doing, and I think people just are gonna notice it. I mean, I don't think they're gonna appreciate that, so that's a con I have to put. Another con I have to put is this movie is meant to be a little bit more serious, you know? It's supposed to be a little bit more gritty, a little bit more espionage kind of feel to it, and I don't know what the Marvel writers are doing. Typically, the Marvel movies are meant for a younger demographic, right? They're meant for teenagers or kids, but adults watch them. We're watching them. I just, you know, forcing comedic lines into there, making somebody the comedy relief. I understand that as a element in a film. But trying to force it to be funny, even in a situation like this one, like I say, it's supposed to be a little bit more espionage, more spy kind of thriller feel to it. When you're trying too hard to be funny in your writing, it really stands out. And it's just something to me that I just roll my eyes. I'm like, there's the Marvel nonsense, you know, that you can make a solid superhero movie without having to be overly comedic, like trying to force it in there. A couple jokes here and there, I'm cool with that. I'm not trying to be the stick in the mud that doesn't want to have comedy in the Marvel movie. I'm just saying that they force it in their writing sometimes, and it's very, very apparent, and it's very cringe-inducing, I guess is the best way to say it. And the last con I have to get into, and this is mostly about the marketing, of course. This film, it is, like I said, more of like a spy thriller kind of. The villain himself is just kind of letting things unravel. He's trying to be undercover. He's trying to kind of like let this plan develop. And it would work. I think it would work better if we didn't know exactly that Harrison Ford was going to be the Red Hulk, because then we all know what his plan is. And this is a minor spoiler because it's in the trailer. So I kind of, it's not a spoiler because it's in the trailer, but I don't like saying what the master plan is. And Harrison Ford's Red Hulk is the master plan. If you're gonna have this kind of unraveling of a plan or anything like that, and kind of have that villain that's just a little bit smarter than everybody, who's kind of like, oh, I know things you don't know, and I have a plan and this and that. And we already know that Harrison Ford is the Red Hulk, then there is no mystery. There is no stakes for the viewer. We know exactly, we're just, having seen the trailer, we're all sitting there waiting, okay, when is Harrison Ford gonna turn into the Red Hulk? And as the film progresses, there's no mystery. There's no mystery to it whatsoever because you know what's coming. So that is a huge con. It kind of irritates me when they put the things in the trailer and just kind of spoil the plot of the movie for you. I mean, that's essentially what it is. So, I don't know. That's just a con in my book. I mean, other people can be like, oh, well, you don't know the significance of this and that. And that's fair. You might be right, but it didn't work for me. I don't like when they do that. But all that being said, my general thoughts on it, I didn't hate it. I sat there and I enjoyed it. I watched it with another buddy of mine, and we've been watching Marvel movies together since like high school. And he didn't like it as much. I personally enjoyed it. I could see what they were trying to do, and I respect them trying to kind of go back to what we liked from the original Captain America movies. I don't like that they have to keep hitting us over the head that Sam Wilson is our new Captain America. I get it. Like, Steve handed him the shield. He's Captain America. I'm running with it. But every time we hear something about Anthony Mackie is Captain America, it's like, well, you're not Steve Rogers. You don't have the serum. Every single time in the show and in this movie, you hear it over and over. Like, he's just a man. I get it. He's our new Cap, and we're gonna roll with him, and I'm happy with that. Just say it and we move on. And I think that's been overdone already. But I mean, the movie itself it's a blockbuster for sure. I mean, if you're gonna go watch something in the theaters and you're excited to go watch Captain America, by all means, it's not a terrible movie. Even though I'm gonna give it a certain score, it's just not anything new. I mean, it's just another MCU movie. I could feel the pivot they're trying to do, but it wasn't as distinct as I wanted it to be. There wasn't anything too surprising. And of course, they gave us what the surprise was in the trailer, so there's no surprise. So getting into my score, I think Captain America Brave New World is right down the middle. It's a 2.5 out of 5. Not a terrible movie by any means, but it is not great either. It's not gonna be my favorite MCU movie of all time. I might forget about it, or just remember the things that are important. You have a couple of cameos in there that, for the long watching Marvel fan like myself, you're gonna recognize them. But if you haven't watched Marvel in a long time, or if you're kind of just the casual fan, those cameos might not make any sense. You're just like, what? Who's this and why do I care? But Captain America Brave New World is a 2.5 out of 5. It's 50%. I mean, it's a coin flip. You might like it, you might not, but it's not god awful. Would I say wait for streaming? It's definitely better to watch things in the movies. This one especially, because it's just that cinematic experience. But you can honestly pass if you're not a Captain America fan, if you don't like Anthony Mackie, if you don't like Harrison Ford, whatever. You can just wait. It's not that big of a deal. And I guess we'll see what they do for the Thunderbolts. But guys, what do you think about Captain America Brave New World? Do you agree with what I'm saying? Disagree with what I'm saying? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you're new to the channel, I'd really appreciate if you like and share this video, or consider subscribing, because it helps good old Chuco keep making videos. And I like talking to you guys about movies. But with that, guys, if you're ever taking in gamma radiation pills for a long time, always remember something my friend Harrison used to tell me, and that's